And good morning, Man Hour Nation. What a week 13 we had. Of course, we got some controversy of the refs because, that's what the NFL's all about. If your team loses, it's blame the refs. 49ers beat down the Eagles. Packers beat the Chiefs. The Dolphins are just in cruise mode over their opponents. Steelers can never bind to their hype. But first. And now, Mike's thoughts. I'm not for sure if I really have any thoughts today, or rants, or rages, or yeah, I do. Who am I kidding? Yes, I do. NFL fans in general, when your team gets beat, whether it's on a controversial call, whether it's a little bit of this or a little bit of that, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. When it comes down to it, when your team loses, I am tired of hearing you blame the refs. I am tired of hearing you blame the non-calls or the calls or this or that or whatever, right? I'm tired of you blaming the rigged NFL system. I'm tired of you blaming Vegas. Maybe, just maybe, hear me out, your team just wasn't meant to win that game. Maybe, just maybe, hear me out, your team just isn't that good. Maybe, just maybe, hear me out, hear me out, the other team was just better that particular day. Now, there are instances at the end of a game when a receiver gets shoved in the back and he falls to the turf and he misses the Hail Mary pass to win the game or to potentially tie the game. That happens. Travis Kelce, Green Bay Packer last night. It does happen. But you cannot bank the whole game on one non-call. You have to go back to the San Francisco 49ers game. I don't know, what was it, second quarter. George Kittle had the dude held in this hand, held in the other hand, and Deebo Samuel scored. Nobody's talking about that non-flag, are they? It's because the whole aspect of the NFL cannot be geared to one flag, one non-call, one little bit of this, one little bit of that. At the end of the day, it's all piled up into one thing. Not piled up into one thing, I should say. And, stop blaming the refs. Stop blaming the refs because we're tired of it. Stop playing a rigged NFL because we're tired of it. Stop. Who are we kidding? It's never going to stop. Cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn NFL show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
Every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that thing. I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Stripes like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches, won't cut short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckhouse here with the Man Hour, sort of manhourradio.com. Check out the new website, guys. I've been putting in some work over there. We got some blogs. We got some sponsorship pages. We got a little bit of this. We got a little bit of that. It's a brand new look over there at manhourradio.com. Of course, guys, you can watch the live stream right there right now as well. We are streaming to Facebook. We're streaming to YouTube. We're streaming to the old Tickety Talk. We're streaming to IG Live. A little bit of Kick, a little bit of this, and a little bit of that. We're streaming everywhere right now, guys. So if you guys are not watching us, you guys are missing out on the best damn NFL show on the planet. Also, if you haven't done so already, like this stream. Like it, angry it, heart it, cry on it, do whatever you want. I need some type of emoji from you here right now. I expect to see everybody that is listening today put in some type of reaction. That's what we want. Likes, comments, and of course, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the show as well. But it is Monday edition of Man Hour Radio NFL Talk. It is way or no way Monday. We're going to talk a little bit about the 49ers beating down the Philadelphia Eagles, the Green Bay Packers cheating the way to the Chiefs' victory. I'm kidding. The Dolphins are in cruise control over the Washington Commanders. Look out, baby. Dolphins are coming. Of course, you got the Bengals and Jaguars tonight. And the Steelers, of course, cannot live up to the hype as always. But before we get too carried away into today's show, we have to welcome the resident Miami Dolphins fan, the man that is the biggest Miami Dolphins fan that I know. And no, it is not Hoffy. It is my man, Arthur Brown. Well, what's going on here? Come on, chat, pop up. Well, Arthur Brown says, go, Pack, go. For some reason, the chat is not wanting to pop up. Let me see something here real quick. Let me see something. Nested scene. All right, guys. So apparently I messed up and I don't have the chat happening today, but I see it. Arthur Brown says, go, Pack, go. And then Jim Powell. This man always brings some of the most colorful comments in the game here. That's right. He says, I see no bad calls. I do see no calls that piss me off. A call can be overturned if it's egregious and no call can't. So Arthur Brown says he sees no bad calls. None at all. No bad calls in the NFL, but he does see no non-calls. This is true. This is true. I think a lot of people in the NFL or in the game in general are upset because of the non-calls, right? Because we are not seeing things happen, right? We are not seeing, what's the word I'm looking for here? The punishment to the crime, right? When George Kittle held the Eagles safety by this hand and held the other guy by this hand, people are like, oh, he's blocking two guys. No, he's holding two guys. But it was a non-call, or it was a non-call. So I guess people can be upset. I don't know. But it is what it is at the end of the day. Hoffy, are you wanting to jump in, man? Are you ready to jump in? Guys, let me jump over here and bring the man, the myth, the legend in the show, the Hofstetter. Hoffy, is everything working for you now, man? Oh, look at that. Hoffy's muted. Let me unmute him. There you go. Everything working for you now, Hoffy?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
All right. My kids fucked with my headphones this weekend, so I'm going with the AirPods, so I can't hear myself. Just want to make sure I was good. What's up, Buck? How you doing this morning? What's up, Man Hour Nation?
I'm fantastic, man. I'm fantastic. So I'm kind of lost for words here. Hoffy, you are here bright and early. I wasn't expecting that. Did you get the chat link? By the way, like we didn't have any pre-show prep.
I have it, and I put up what up, Man Hour Nation. How about them Eagles or Birds, whatever I said. But I can't see it. I don't see anything from Arthur Brown.
Yeah. Well, so, I sent you the new chat link over there.
I've got it pulled up.
It's not working, huh? Well,
no, sir.
Son of a gun. Just pull up the old one. I reckon. I don't know. It is what it is. We tried new technology and things update and then things don't work. I don't know. It is what it is. But Hoffy, let's get into some week NFL 13 football here. So obviously, guys, the Philadelphia Eagles and the San Francisco 49ers should seem to be the game of the year, right? People were hyping this game up. Oh, this is a NFC championship preview. This is a little bit of that. This is a little bit of this. And you know what? The 49ers said, hold my beer. We are going to give the Eagles a 6-point head start. We are going to suck until the second quarter, and then we are going to put on the jet burners. We are going to score not 7 points, not 14 points. We're just going to score 42 points, 14 points in the second, third, and fourth quarter just for good measure. We might let the Eagles, eject one of our best linebackers in the game for some BS call. But we got to ask the question, way or no way, guys, after that beatdown that the San Francisco 49ers gave the Philadelphia Eagles, they are now the front runners for the Super Bowl. Guys, the NFC Super Bowl path seems to be getting a lot more muddy, right? Lot more muddy. It seemed previously like it was the Eagles and then everybody else, right? I'm talking about the 49ers, the Cowboys, the Lions. You can put the Falcons in there because they're leading the South, and then the Rams are up and coming. But now I feel like the cream is starting to rise to the top a little bit. I feel like the 49ers are starting to come back up. After that 3-game skid, they're like, hey, we just needed a break. We got tired of winning so many damn games in a row. We just needed a break. So we're not going to lose 1 game in a row. We're just going to lose 3 games in a row, make you guys sleep on us, and then go into a bye week, make you guys forget about us, and then come back and whoop some ass. Guys, I think this is an absolute no way. Yes, the 49ers are a damn good team. Yes, they are running over people right now. They beat down the Cowboys earlier this season. They destroyed the Philadelphia Eagles last night. But the point of the matter is, or the simple fact of the matter is that the San Francisco 49ers always find ways to lose. Whether they're up 28-10 in the Super Bowl, they totally change the whole game plan and lose to the Kansas City Chiefs. Then they're, just battling with the Eagles in the NFC Championship game. They decide to throw an injured quarterback back out there. There is a reason why this San Francisco 49ers team has not won a championship yet. It is because of the coaching staff. Kyle Shanahan is a great regular season coach. He is much like Peyton Manning in the regular season. Most dominant, could never be beat, but once you make it to the playoffs, we're going to kind of just be mediocre at best. So are the San Francisco 49ers the Super Bowl favorite? No. I still think it goes through Philadelphia right now. Hoffy, you picked the 49ers to win this game. I picked the Eagles, so I got to ask you as a 49ers passive fan from the great state of California, are the Santa Clara 49ers Super Bowl favorites?
I think so. I think they've beaten every team that, they beat down on the Cowboys, who we're talking about being a, potential Super Bowl contender. I know some people are like, oh, no, it's the Cowboys, whatever. It is what it is. Record says otherwise. I know they haven't, beaten any real good teams. Seattle Seahawks was their first win against a team with a winning record this season. But the 49ers have beaten the Cowboys. They've beaten the Eagles. Yes, they had that 3-game letdown against, starting with the Browns. That was an ugly game as far as the weather. If Moody hits that, field goal at the end of the game, they win that. The Vikings, I think, they just kind of took them lightly, but that was right when that Vikings started that, that 4-game winning streak got hot. They had Kirk Cousins in that game. And then the next week they lost to Joe Burrows at same thing. Joe Burrows was really getting hot. That Bengals team was starting to click and starting to look like the Bengals of old. Joe Burrows gets injured, different story now. But since then, they have absolutely demolished XD Gamers, Jaguars, 34-3, another, solid playoff team. They, beat the Bucks by 13. They destroyed the Seahawks. They just beat down on the Eagles. So since those 3 games that they lost, not only have they won and not lost, but they have absolutely beat the brakes off of every team. And I was a little hesitant yesterday coming into that game. Deebo Samuel was talking his shit ever since that NFC Championship game. So, the bulletin material was there for the Eagles, and they just did not show up. So I expect with that kind of confidence, and such moving forward in the playoffs, They're going to be able to beat teams like the Cowboys. They're going to be able to beat teams like the Eagles. So I do think they're Super Bowl favorites, but I would not be surprised if Kyle Shanahan finds a way in that Super Bowl to mess up, because that's where it seems like he just can't get it right. 28-3, got the Chiefs by 10, and still finds a way to lose both of those games. But yes, I do think the 49ers are NFC favorites.
All righty, so we are on two opposite spectrums here. So Jim Powell says the Eagles have been packing the league for 13 weeks. One letdown, and they are found out 10-2. Come on. Listen, Jim. When we talk about the Philadelphia Eagles, they have a very tough slate of games coming forward. They play the 49ers, the Cowboys, and the Seahawks in back-to-back weeks. Also, one thing about the Philadelphia Eagles, they had, 3 games in 13 days as well. So you could almost say that they are tired, right? They almost need a break. But when you look at the Eagles schedule, previously of like all the teams that they have beat, they've beaten the Commanders twice. They've beaten the Rams. At the times, the Rams, they were like 1-5. They were not very good. The Bucks, that was a good quality win because the Bucks at the time were clicking. I thought they were going to run away with the South. Vikings, shit, week 2. Patriots, obviously, are shit, right?
And they almost lost that game.
Yeah, to the Patriots, yeah. And then they beat the Buffalo Bills, which is a good win, since their offense is starting to come up and look somewhat of a good offense. They've beaten the Chiefs and they've beaten the Cowboys. So really, you can say that the Eagles had one letdown. Well, their one letdown was versus the Jets. They physically got manhandled by the San Francisco 49ers. It was that first quarter. I was in the chat. I was talking shit. I'm like, man, Hoffy, your 49ers defense better show up, whatever, yada, yada, yada. They held him to 2 field goals. They let the Eagles drive all the way down like the 5-yard line, and they had to settle for 2 field goals. The massive Philadelphia Eagles couldn't touch pusher, brotherly love push into the end zone from the 5-yard line twice. Listen, guys, the Philadelphia Eagles have been playing down to their competition all season long. The Philadelphia Eagles finally started out somewhat faster than what they have been, but it has come back and bite them in the butt. This was a rude awakening for the Philadelphia Eagles. It would not surprise me one bit if the Philadelphia Eagles lose 4 games in a row here, Hoffy. It would not surprise me one bit if the Philadelphia Eagles, obviously they lost to the 49ers. I think the Cowboys are going to beat them at home. The Seahawks, they are going to be battling for the playoff lives at this point. And then, at that point in time, they play the Giants, Cardinals, and Giants to end the season. They might be wrapped up. They're like, hey, we're not going to win. We're not going to win the division. The Cowboys are running away with it. Giants, oh, darn it, they come up and bit us in the ass. Do you think the Eagles are going to go on a little bit of a skid, Hoffy?
I mean, I question their defense. The last 2 weeks, they've given up 76 points. 34 to Buffalo, and that was, in the pouring rain and whatnot, but still, that's a lot of points. We saw that same exact weather yesterday in a shitty-ass Patriots-Chargers game, and a total 6 points was scored. Right. And then yesterday, they give up 42 to the 49ers. So, people are going to hate on the Cowboys, but look out, because you got to go into Dallas, where Dallas has just been, annihilating everybody at home. So Dallas is going to put up points, and they're not going to have a problem putting up points. So you're going to have to hang with that Dallas team. So if you lose to Dallas this week, look out. Yes, they have some pretty easy games towards the end of their schedule in the Cardinals, Giants, and Giants again. But with how 49ers are playing right now, they lose to the Cowboys this week. Giants win. Niners win. Now the Niners have that 1 seed. And I don't think you're going into Santa Clara and beating the 49ers after what we saw last night. So I think they have to get this win against the Cowboys and, kind of get their mojo and confidence back. Otherwise, they're going to be in some trouble.
Yeah, and this is basically this is me predicting a Cowboys win over the Eagles. Obviously, it's a long week ahead of us still. But if they get beat down in the Dallas too, like in a very dominant fashion, if I'm an Eagles fan, I would be scared to play a road playoff game, period. And if you don't win the division, you're not going to get a road playoff game. And and if you think about this, if the Cowboys are first in the in the NFC East, the Eagles will probably get a five seed, right? And then they got to play that Atlanta Falcons team. This Falcons team is getting not too bad right now. Now, do I think the Eagles will lose to the Falcons? Absolutely not. But then you got to play either the Cowboys or the 49ers on the road. And Eagles fans better watch out.
Or even devil's advocate, even if they got the 1 seed, Dallas is probably going to be the 5 seed, and they're going to beat a team like the Falcons in Atlanta, and then they're going to go up to Philadelphia, where they only lost to the Eagles by 1 yard.
Yeah,
in that game. So I mean, the Cowboys are not going to be going into Philadelphia with their tails tucked between their legs. So they're going to give the Eagles a game. So the Eagles could end up with that 1 seed and still 1 game into their playoffs be done. So, they really do need to, I think, put a stamp on the Cowboys and show them, who's boss, because you lose to them, or even if you beat them and then you got to play them and, beat them in a close game, they're coming into Philadelphia with all the confidence that they can beat you because they nearly beat you in Philadelphia already.
Yeah, and then just add to your point, there again, if the Eagles do beat the Cowboys next Sunday night, it is very hard to beat a team 3 times in a season. So the Cowboys kind of got the edge either way. But let's go ahead and jump back into the chat here. Comments are not popping up, but I'm seeing them right now. Arthur Brown says, I am still not convinced that the Niners are the team to beat. Listen, I still think the Philadelphia Eagles are the team to beat. Like I said earlier, like Jim is right. Yes, they are still 10-2 on the season. And the 49ers are 9-3. But there is a little bit of chink in the armor of the Eagles. So let me ask you this question. Just because you think the 49ers are the team to beat, you think the 49ers are going to be the team to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. If it's not the 49ers, then who is it?
I mean, the reason why I say the 49ers is because I think most of us can probably agree. I mean, people are going to want to admit that the Cowboys are one of them, but realistically, in the NFC, I think you have to look at 3 teams, and that's the 49ers, the Eagles, and the Cowboys. Those are the 3 teams that I think, realistically, on paper and what they've done, body of work this year, have what it takes to get there. And the 49ers have absolutely beat down on both of them. So that's why I'm going to say that it's the 49ers. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's one of the other 2 teams. But I just think that the 3 teams there, 49ers have beaten both of them.
Are we forgetting about the Detroit Lions?
Yes, we are absolutely forgetting about the Detroit. I mean, we're not forgetting about them. We're right. Wrote them off. Sorry.
So Hoffy is saying right here, right now, the Detroit Lions are 1 and done in the playoffs. Am I hearing that correct?
I didn't say that. I just said they're not making it to the Super Bowl.
Listen,
they could be in the NFC Championship, but it's going to be against either Dallas, it's going to be against Philadelphia, or it's going to be against the Eagles. One of those 3 teams. And I hate the Cowboys, and I love to piss people off on the Facebook posts and say they're the Super Bowl contenders. And I would like to say that they're going to get their asses handed to them, but one of those 3 teams is going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I am loving the parity in the NFC and the AFC right now. There is no clear cut front runner, I feel, in like any division of football. But speaking of front runners, the Kansas City Chiefs have been front runners in the AFC for the last few seasons, right? And we've been talking about a little bit of chinks in armor. And right now, the Kansas City Chiefs have some chinks in their armor. Their offense is not performing up to past standards. Now, me as a Chiefs fan, I am getting very, very tired of Chris Collinsworth saying, oh, the Kansas City Chiefs offense just isn't very good. They're not very good, but we're still a pretty good team. But with that being said, the Green Bay Packers did beat the Kansas City Chiefs last night in a thriller, I guess you can say. It was a very uneasy game for a Chiefs fan, very easy chilling for a Packers fan. But we have to ask this. After this win over the Kansas City Chiefs, the Packers have now won 4 of their last 5. They have beaten teams like the Detroit Lions, like the Kansas City Chiefs. But we got to ask this question. Way or no way, are the Green Bay Packers a playoff team? When I first was entertaining this question, entertaining the idea, I'm like, there is no freaking way the Packers are going to make the playoffs. They are a 6-6 team. There are other teams in the NFC that are going to be battling for those spots. We're talking about the Seahawks. We're talking about the Rams. But then I got to sit back and think, I'm like, man, besides the 4 division leaders, we're talking about the 49ers, the Detroit Lions, the Philadelphia Eagles, excuse me, and then the Atlanta Falcons. The only lock I see besides that are the Dallas Cowboys. So there are basically 3 teams vying for 2 spots at this particular point. You have the Seahawks, Rams, and Packers all battling for a 6 and 7 seed. The Packers, like I said, have won 4 of their last 5. They're sitting at 6 and 6 right now. But they do play the Giants coming up. Monday Night Football game. That's going to be a hell of a barn burner. And then they play the Buccaneers, a Buccaneers team that is struggling very, very much so. And then they play the Panthers, Vikings, and Bears to end the season. Guys, it is not unrealistic if the Green Bay Packers win, 8 games in a row here. It is not unrealistic if the Green Bay Packers get so freaking hot that they might be Super Bowl favorites coming out of the NFC. So this is a way. The Green Bay Packers are going to the playoffs. They are going to beat the Giants Monday Night Football. They are going to beat the Buccaneers, Panthers, Vikings, and Bears to end the season. They are going to go. They're going to be 8 of their last 9. 8 of their last 9 with a 7-game winning streak going into the playoffs. Hell, it would not surprise me one bit if they are NFC champions, like at this particular point. Do you guys remember back in June or July when I said the Green Bay Packers are going to be really, really good or really, really, really bad? Like 11 wins or 3 wins? Guys, they're on pace for 11 to 12 wins. Wrap your head around that. They started off the season like 2 and 6, right? Look out. Hold my beer. The Green Bay Packers are going to the playoffs. Hoffy, what are your thoughts?
I agree with you. You said at the beginning of the year they're going to be really bad or they're going to be really good. They started off really bad. They are the youngest team in the NFL. I mean, Chris Collinsworth told us that about 500 times yesterday. I swear to God, I am sick and tired of having to listen to him. I got to put the games on mute. He's something special. But yeah, I think it's going to be difficult to go undefeated for the rest of this year. I could see them, just kind of throwing one of those games away. I mean, it might be the Vikings game, but with how the Vikings are playing, I mean, I could very well see them winning that out. It's going to be tough for the Buccaneers to come into Lambeau in December and, not be freezing their tails off and get a win. So they could very well be, an undefeated, remainder of this season. And look out. I mean, I've already said it. Again, Chris Collinsworth said it. They are the youngest team. They're, started off rough this year. They're really starting to gel. I mean, look out for them. However, those 3 teams, once again, the Cowboys, Eagles, and the 49ers, I don't think that the defense of the Packers can stop them. But any other team, I think they could easily, not necessarily easily, but they could beat the Lions. I don't think they could beat those other 3 teams, but they are going to be a team that come next year, if they're still together. I mean, they're only getting, a little bit older. I don't want to call them old because they're young, but they are a team to watch out for in the upcoming years as well. Yeah, but that said,
22, they'll be 23.
That said, I do have to sign off from my meeting now.
Okay. All right, man. We will see you back here in a little bit. But guys, just like let me piggyback on what like Coffee just said. Yes, it is very hard to win 3 games in a row, let alone 6 games in the NFL. I.e., Vikings and both Broncos could not extend their streak past five games. So if we look at, the 5-game spot for the Green Bay Packers, it comes on Christmas Eve when they play the Carolina Panthers at Carolina. So will they slip up once this to end the season? Yes, I do think they will probably not go undefeated, but they will, be very, very competitive still. Whether it's to the Buccaneers, whether it's to the Panthers, whether it's to the Vikings, they do slip up at some point in this season. But guys, I do think the Green Bay Packers are going to make the playoffs. So Jim Powell says Raiders beat the Packers, Packers beat the Chiefs, Raiders are greater than the Chiefs. Simple math. I like it, Jim. I like it. But also, since the Packers beat the Lions and the Lions beat they did not beat the Ravens, but I mean, by default, I think that puts the Raiders like second place in the AFC, right? I'm pretty sure. Arthur Brown says, no way. They just caught KC in their moment. In whose moment, Arthur? Are you saying the Packers are in their moment on the 3-game stretch, win over the Chargers, Lions, and like Chiefs? Or the Chiefs are in their moment from like I think they won like 3 games in a row? Did the Chiefs... No, the Chiefs have not won 3 games in a row. They beat the Eagles, lost to the Eagles, and then beat the Raiders. So whose moment are you referring to? I'm kind of curious about that. And then Jim says, "You going to let the Chiefs in just like Bama?" You wanted to talk about college football, man? Florida State's not a very good team. Here in Louisville, I've been following Florida State as extensively, right? Their quarterback is hurt. They're not very good right now. The committee made the correct decision. Danny Hawker's in the chat. He says, "Good Monday, peeps. What screwed up football this weekend?" Oh, man. But on top of the Green Bay Packers making the playoffs, I think, on the other side of the coin, we have seen the Kansas City Chiefs start to struggle a little bit. They're starting to go back and forth, win-loss, win-loss. Losses to the Broncos, beat the Dolphins, lost to the Eagles, beat the Raiders, lost to the Packers. So therefore, by de facto, they will beat the Buffalo Bills and lose to the lose to the Patriots in the next 2 weeks, and then therefore beat the Raiders come Christmas Day. But way or no way, are the Kansas City Chiefs no longer Super Bowl favorites in the AFC? The AFC is a very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Very top-heavy division, right? With Joe Burrow out, Deshaun Watson out, you can cancel out the Bengals and the Browns. I don't think Joe Flacco is going to lead the Browns to a Super Bowl. No way, shape, or form, little alone the playoffs. The Bengals, we'll see tonight how bad they are, right? Jake Browning just is not a very good quarterback, not even a good placeholder. Sorry, Jake Browning. Sorry, Bengals fans. You guys are just, season's over. Stick a fork in it. And so basically, at the top of the AFC, we have the Ravens. We have the Jacksonville Jaguars. We have the Miami Dolphins, right? You could try to put the Pittsburgh Steelers up there, but every time they try, there's like, nope, we're going to lose the Arizona Cardinals. And then we're going to go out there and beat the 49ers. Oh, nope, we're going to lose to the New York Giants. The Steelers are just so bipolar. You can maybe, just maybe, put the Buffalo Bills up there as well. We'll see in a few weeks when they play the Kansas City Chiefs of how much their offense has improved over the last few weeks here. But to say the Kansas City Chiefs are no longer Super Bowl favorites, as of right now, if we're going off the, what's the word? Spur of the moment, the caught in the moment type of thing, right? The Kansas City Chiefs are not Super Bowl favorites right now in the AFC. No way. No way. I say no way because Baltimore Ravens are pretty freaking good. The Baltimore Ravens are pretty freaking good. Let's just call a spade, right? Jacksonville Jaguars. Yes, the Chiefs did beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, but they're getting better each and every week. They had a little bye week. We didn't see them play. But besides the Ravens, and I guess you got to put the Miami Dolphins up there, 9-3. I don't care if they're playing sub 500 teams or not. They're rolling those teams. They are looking like a damn good team. No way. The Kansas City Chiefs are no longer Super Bowl favorites in the AFC. It is what it is. Now, if the Kansas City Chiefs decide to step up and start playing some offense, to start catching the damn ball, to start, being the Chiefs that they were week 2 through 9, 8, whatever, winning 5, 6, 7 games in a row, they could. Watch out. Yes, they were in a kind of a gauntlet of a schedule. The Buffalo Bills are still the tail end of the gauntlet of that schedule. But then they do play the Patriots, Raiders, Bengals, and Chargers. 4, what's the word? We don't want to say cupcake, but 4 games that they should be favored in, right? 4 games that they should welcome the Raiders into town, welcome the Bengals into town, go into LA. They should be winning those games easily. They should. Nice little momentum going into the playoffs. Only time will tell. But right now, it is a no way. They are not a playoff team. Moving on. Next up on the way or no way, we are going to be talking about those Miami Dolphins. Those Miami Dolphins that were in cruise control after the first snap of the game versus the Washington Commanders. I believe it was the second play of the game, 70-yard bomb to Tyreek Hill. Good gravy. The Commanders never even stood a fighter's chance at that particular point. They tried. They tried to give him a left hook and they connected a little bit, but the Dolphins were like, really? Really? But guys, way or no way are the Miami Dolphins the real deal? Like I said, the Miami Dolphins are a team that have been beaten up on, quote, subpar teams. They are getting the Dallas Cowboys treatment without getting the Dallas Cowboys treatment, meaning that they are beating below 500 teams and not playing well against teams that are above 500. Nobody's talking about it because they're not the Dallas Cowboys, but I do think that the Miami Dolphins are the real deal. They only have 3 losses on the season. To the Kansas City Chiefs, which they shut them out in the second half over the pond in Germany. And then they lose to the very, very good Eagles team. They still put up 17 points against that stellar defense. And then they just got beat down by the Buffalo Bills. It is what it is. I believe Jim says it the best that even the sun shines on a dog ass once in a while, right? The Buffalo Bills just played a perfect game against that game. And the Miami Dolphins just played a terrible game. Now, next week on Monday Night Football, we don't get to see really their true potential. It'll be another blowout win versus the Titans. And then they play the Jets. It's a division game against the Jets. Yeah, it is going to be a good game, but they're going to blow them out as well. But then they play the Cowboys, Ravens, and Buffalo Bills to end the season. Very much battle-tested. So where, no way, are the Miami Dolphins the real deal? As much as this hurts me to say, Arthur Brown, your Miami Dolphins are the real deal. The Miami Dolphins guys are the real deal. Their defense is getting better. Yes, Phillips is out for the season, but they're getting better and better and better. The linebacker guy that got the pick 6 on the screenplay from Sam Howell. He is getting a hell of a lot better, right? He is looking damn good. The offense, they got their rookie running back, Acne. Looking pretty good. Guys, the Miami Dolphins are the real deal. If the Miami Dolphins do not have to play the Baltimore Ravens in the playoffs, they are Super Bowl favorites. As long as they don't have to play the Ravens or the Chiefs in the Super Bowl or in the playoffs, they are Super Bowl favorites. I do think, obviously we'll see them in a couple weeks on New Year's Eve to play the Ravens at Baltimore. Potential AFC Championship preview. We'll see how that goes, right? And then they've already lost to the Kansas City Chiefs. As long as they don't play the Chiefs or the Bills early in the playoffs, let me put a caveat on on that, meaning like round 2, they are Super Bowl favorites. Way. We got Jay Jillian in the chat. He says, "You still hating on Bruce Irvin?" I'm not for sure if I was ever hating on Bruce Irvin. The man had one good game. He is the I believe he's a linebacker, right? That the Detroit Lions picked up, and he had a pretty stellar game versus the New Orleans Saints. I will give you that. I will give you that he had a good game versus the New Orleans Saints. I'm trying to look for his stats. So he is a defensive end. So he had 1 tackle and 1 sack versus the Saints. Obviously, the stats don't tell the full story here, but it is what it is. And Jay thinks if Rodgers is back for the New York Jets, that the Jets will beat the Miami Dolphins. Let's talk a little bit about Aaron Rodgers here. Guys, Aaron Rodgers might be on the path to come back, right? I think he has 14 more days to be activated or not. But that 14 days will be against, obviously, the Jets versus Miami Dolphins. Guys, the Jets are 4-8 right now on a 5-game losing streak. They play the Texans, Dolphins, Commanders, Browns, and Patriots to end the season. They have to win all 5 of those games to even have a chance at the playoffs. They would have to win all 5, and every team above them would have to lose all 4, right? Aaron Rodgers might have the ability to come back. Yes, it was a great surgery. Even to be able to be practicing on an NFL field after 3 months after tearing your Achilles, bravo, man. Bravo. I had a rotator cuff in 3 months. I was like, not going to happen, right? The old physical therapist had to sit on my arm and crank all the freaking scar tissue like away. It would not be smart for Aaron Rodgers to come back. What is the point? What is the point to come back? Let's say you do come back mid-December like you wanted to, and you beat the Miami Dolphins. You beat the Commanders. You beat the Browns, and you beat the Patriots. Let's just say what if, right? That puts you at 8 wins on the season. Is it 8 or 7? Yeah, it'd be 8 wins on the season. So you'd be 8-9. Okay? Does 8-9 get you into the playoffs? Jury says, no, it does not. Does 8-9 get you a better draft pick for the future? Jury says, no, it does not. The one thing that Aaron Rodgers can do to help his football team right now is to sit his happy ass up in the press box for the rest of the season. Don't be helping Tim Boyle get any better. Don't be helping Zach Wilson to get any better. Don't worry about Allen Lazard getting healthy, healthy scratched. Worry about just those 4 wins that you all have. Worry about those 4 wins and a top 10 pick that you guys are going to get. That is how Aaron Rodgers can help his team. Be the biggest asshole in the room saying, you all suck. And then worry about recruiting your next set of Green Bay Packers over there. Bring in Watson. Bring in Romeo Dobbs. Bring in A.J. Dillon, right? Because obviously Delvin Cook is not the man. Bring somebody else in. But Aaron Rodgers should not be playing. Hoffy says, Rodgers is not coming back. If they are smart, the Jets are not going to be a playoff team. Exactly. David's in the chat as well. He says, Chargers. Huge 6-0 victory over the Patriots this past weekend, David. As I said in my Facebook post, no end zone was harmed in the making of that game. Jay says that dude is on some magic mushroom healing type of shit. Actually, Jay, I can't remember where I saw it, but it's basically like a new way to heal these ligaments and tendons. Like instead of just like attaching it to the bone like they used to, they're basically like putting some type of hinge in your bone and then attaching it to the hinge. So really when you tear your ACL and Achilles and rotator cuff and bicep and like all that stuff, the hardest and biggest part of the whole recovery is stretching those things back out, right? Stretching them back out to where you can get full range of movement on there. But with the hinge on there, you know, you don't have to worry about stretching it completely out again. And it's just it actually is a very remarkable thing. I want to saw it. I think it was on Fox that they played. I'm not for sure, but I would have to find the link and post it. But yeah, he says, "What do you think about Sam Laporta? I think he's generational type of talent. Sam Porta is going to be a very, very good tight end for a very, very long time in Detroit. I will give you that. I think the Lions nailed that draft pick. I think they absolutely got one of the best tight ends in the game right now. Now, to say that he is a generational talent, to be determined, right? He still is a rookie, and he still has a lot of room to grow still, right? Now, I don't want to say it's the Lions, but it's the Lions. Don't you remember the last time they had a generational talent in Calvin Johnson? Still didn't do a whole lot. Generational talent in Barry Sanders still didn't do a whole lot. Hoffy, welcome back. Do you think Sam Laporta is a generational talent, the tight end for the Detroit Lions?
Who the fuck is that guy?
All righty, Connor. Sam Laporta he's a really good tight end. He's probably top 5 right now.
But he's no Calvin Johnson, and he's no Barry Sanders. And what did they do with those talents?
First round playoff exit, if I'm not mistaken.
Did they even make the playoffs with Calvin?
Oh, I think so. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. He's just not a very good talent. Anyways, moving on. Let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers, Hoffy. Let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers, guys. Pittsburgh Steelers. Every freaking time I slide these MFers up into my top 10 power rankings, they go and they shit the bed the very next week. Guys, this week, yes, it was some massive rain delays, and James Conner had a great homecoming, and the Cardinals had everything to play for with nothing to lose, and the Steelers had everything to lose. But the Steelers lost to the Cardinals last night. With that being said, guys, are the Pittsburgh Steelers a playoff team in the AFC? Way or no way? Way or no way are the Steelers going to make the playoffs? As bad as the Pittsburgh Steelers play at times, they play that much better like the very next week. They are sitting at 7-5 right now, squarely in the playoff hunt. They are above teams like the Houston Texans. They are above teams like the Indianapolis Colts. They are above teams like the Houston Texans. If I'm not mistaken, right now they are sitting at 7 seed in the playoff hunt. And, spoiler alert, they're only a game and a half behind the Baltimore Ravens in division lead. They play the Patriots, Colts, Bengals, Seahawks, Ravens coming up. They could very well get the number 1 seed in the NFC North. But every time we think they're going to do well, they shit the bed. They should beat the Patriots. They should. Will they? Who the F knows at this point? It should be a good game versus the Indianapolis Colts. Will it be a good game? Probably not, because they're going to show up and blow the brakes off of the Colts. Guys, the Steelers are a team that is like a bipolar woman. You walk in and she is shit and raving and pissed off because you left the toilet seat it up. You walk back out the house, you walk back in, and bada bing, bada boom, nothing. Everything's changed. Like, hey, how was your day, honey? Guys, the Pittsburgh Steelers will fuck around and end up in the playoffs somehow, some way. Somehow, some way, they will slide into the playoffs and they'll get a first-round win and they'll end up upsetting like the Baltimore Ravens or something, and we'll be like, what is going on with the Pittsburgh Steelers? So, yes, I do think they will make the playoffs. Hoffy, do you think the Steelers are going to make the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, their schedule is pretty favorable. I mean, they got the Patriots coming up this week. They'll win that game 6-0, regardless of who their quarterback is. But, I mean, we have to talk about or take into consideration that Kenny Pickett is likely to be out for a couple weeks. So we're going to be dealing with Mitch Trubisky. Some might not like this, but I think they're a better team with Mitch Trubisky because I'm still not sold on Pickett. So I don't really think that it's really a downgrade going to Trubisky from Pickett. The Colts game is going to be, it depends which Gardner Minshew shows up.
Right.
But they should beat the Patriots. They should beat the Bengals. I mean, it's going to be tough to beat the Seahawks in Seattle. I don't see that happening, and I don't see them beating the Ravens. But, you know, they should be able to get 2 or 3 wins out of those 5 games, and what would that put them at? 10 or 9 wins?
Yeah. So sitting right now, they are 7-5. So I think 10 wins probably gets you into the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a testament to Mike Tomlin and how solid of a coach he really is. Because, you know, that team has, like you said, there's times where they look like a 2-12 team, and then there's times where they look like a 10-2 team. But
right,
you know, they play for their coach, so I think they're gonna have another winning record that makes it like 18, 19 seasons now without a losing season.
Never had a losing season.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and also to think about this, the Steelers have already beaten the Ravens once this season, Week 5, 17-10. So, granted, the Ravens have gotten a hell of a lot better since that particular point, but it is what it is. So you think they get in as well? And Jay says no way, no way. I do not think the Steelers are getting in, but he does think the Colts sneak in. I'm going to go and say I think the winner of the Colts versus Steelers game will get that 7th seed. I
agree.
Yeah, it circle that December 16th Saturday afternoon game. It's going to be a good game to watch. Hopefully, I'll actually be at that game. So should be a good one.
However, the Colts the Bengals, they should win that. But again, the Steelers, like you said, that's going to be a big game. They do play the Falcons. They do play the Raiders. And they do finish against the Texans. So we might even make it a 3-team race and call it between the Texans, Steelers, and the Colts.
Right. Yeah, it's much just like the Lions, Packers, and Seahawks last season, right? It's going to make for some great week NFL 18 football here. But with that being said, Hoffy, we do have one more game on the slate for week 13. The Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Joe Burrow is out. Trevor Lawrence is playing like a madman. He's breathing twice as much oxygen as the rest of us. Take a line from my man Jim. But who you got tonight?
I'd like to take the Bengals just because, I'm an XD gamer Jaguars hater in his eyes, but I don't think there's a shot in hell that Cincinnati goes into Jacksonville and upsets the Pinocchio quarterback. So I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, every time I look at this game, I'm kind of just like you. Like, I want to pick the upset. But, Hoffy, did you know that the Bengals have no backup quarterback on the roster right now? Jake Browning is the only quarterback that they have. So if he happens to go down, you know who the quarterback is? Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is the, quote, backup quarterback right now. So when let's just say happens, Jake Browning misses a series because he sprained his ankle or something, and he needs to get taped. You take one of the best receivers out of your routes and put him at quarterback. Who is he going to throw to? He's going to hand the ball off to Joe Mixon over and over and over again. And the Jaguars defense is pretty good at stopping the run. I don't think the Bengals have a chance. I think once Joe Burrow went down and they did not pick up a quarterback and they said, Jake Browning, you are our guy. Lead us to a top 10 overall pick. Their season's done. Give me the Jaguars. It's going to probably be close, 27-20 maybe. I don't know, because the NFL is rigged and they need a fourth quarter comeback. No, I'm joking, but give me the Jaguars. But that's going to be it for today's show, guys. Hour flies by when you're having fun. Got to get little man off the bus and maybe get some little bit of sloppy toppy before the kids come home. Hoffy, send us out, big guy.